method of business would persist until the formation of the National Wrestling Alliance in 1948. The NWA as a central governing body, with its singular, undisputed world champion, would be absolute and undeniable. This control, combined with the expansion of the interstate highway system, and the inevitable popularity and availability of regional television, would usher in an era of wrestling that was defined by what would come to be known as the territory system. The territory system would dominate wrestling for nearly 4 decades. While the borders, authority, popularity, and obedience of individual NWA territories was in a near constant state of flux, to this day the impact and influence of these territories is still felt. Each territory had its own signature promoter and star. While it is impossible to cram these characteristics into a static, concrete map, we are damn sure going to try anyway.
So open up your eyes before it gets too late. Now one man, there's no way you can. And with the streetlights running, don't give a damn. A simple explanation that you'll never find. Sinners never sacrifice. We never leave love alone. Is hate really worth the price? Look at what we've done. Never care for compromise. Always threatening someone's life, and it feels like the end of the world.
All right, welcome to another episode of This Week in Wrestling with your host, Mike Monte and Jimmy Pharaoh. Jimmy,
yo,
another week in professional wrestling in the books, man.
Yep.
Every time another week of wrestling goes by is another week that you're closer to being dead.
Wow. I can't wait for next week. I'll be even closer. Right?
Yeah.
According to that fucked up theory. Go ahead.
Would you mind, if you did die, put your bones in that seat there, or what do you think?
What was that about my
Your
bones?
bones, put
what about
bones with a skull, be good to go?
Only if I wind up on Pig Farm's Marshall stack. What? That'd be awesome.
All right, well, anyway.
You could enjoy my bones while they
Jerry
rock.
Jarrett has passed away.
Oh.
What do you know about Jerry Jarrett there, Pharaoh?
Well, we're East Coast guys and grew up with the WWF, but we were always aware of it through the mags, of course, the CWA and what was it, USWA?
USWA, yeah.
Right, he was always involved with Jerry Lawler. Interestingly enough, he was a wrestler himself, at one point. Mm-hmm. I mean, it seems so long ago, obviously, but he was a multiple-time tag team champion. He was, of course, with his son, Jeff Jarrett, behind the NWA, the TNA thing. Mm-hmm. When they, saw the void, they tried to fill it. Obviously, a pretty impactful fella in the history of the business.
How important do you think Memphis wrestling was to wrestling in general? Because it's no matter what, whoever you talk to, right? It's like the AWA was kind of the one that built it, or the NWA, and now you start to hear then Florida Championship Wrestling, but then eventually you hear that really it all started in Memphis, Tennessee.
Well, there's a reason why they call it the Territory Days. Even though we lump some, like you said, WWF, AWA, NWA, those were the 3 big bodies back in the day. It was the subdivisions there within. Not for us in the WWF, but in the NWA for sure. You had the Mid-South, you had the Mid-Atlantic, you had Georgia, you had Florida, you had the Von Erichs running Texas.
Right.
I think that they all cohesively contributed to one solid NWA deal. So, I mean, they're all important.
So the mindset behind it, if I'm right, or correct me if I'm wrong,
all right,
was be part of this NWA organization where the traveling champion will come to your territory every 3 months.
Right.
And hopefully draw a bigger gate for you because he's the NWA champion.
Right.
So the bigger you grow this champion, you put your face right? Because I get the whole idea that they wanted a heel champion because most of the places had their faces.
Had
right?
their good guy,
It wouldn't
right.
have worked with a heel champion traveling.
Right.
So how do you like that whole dynamic? Do you think that built wrestling, or do you think they would have been better off breaking away long before Vince Jr. started taking over and just did their own thing? I mean, how important was it for Ric Flair to come into Memphis, considering you had Lawler there and all these other stars there?
Well, don't forget, these are the days before wrestling was known as an act. Wrestling was presented as a legitimate sport.
Right.
So when the world champion came into your town, oh, you damn sure Skippy they were going to the arena.
But you think
especially Ric Flair.
But
Woo!
Lawler there,
Are you kidding?
think you needed a Ric Flair to come into there?
You know what? Maybe not. But you know, sometimes you want some bacon and cheese on that burger.
But you mentioned the Von Erichs, right? Did the Von Erichs really need Ric Flair to come in there? They had that hot feud with the Freebirds.
Isn't that the beauty of the territory days? That's why the territories were established. When the champion came in, it was like the cherry on top of the pro wrestling cake.
I almost feel like it's someone taking advantage of the smaller, like, okay, I've built this conglomerate, and
right.
I'm going to just have this champion,
right.
and I'm going to get a piece of your action because
right.
I'm going to float that champion, like Vince Sr. did with Andre, right?
Right.
He would float Andre.
Well, look what ultimately happened at the end of the day. It all crashed and burned anyway, didn't it?
Right.
So there's something to that then. That wasn't exactly fault-proof, obviously. History has spoken.
When Vince McMahon was possibly going to go to jail for the steroid trials, if you remember.
Sure.
That's the first time I ever heard Jerry Jarrett's name, because I remember hearing that Vince was going to turn over the WWE to Jerry Jarrett if he went to jail. Not him being as the owner, but he would run the organization.
Hey, let's play What If from Marvel Comics. What if that had happened? What do you think Jerry Jarrett would have done? What year was this? 93, 94?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, the steroid scandal. Hogan was the one who saved Vince's bacon, as we know.
Right.
But yeah, how do you think that would have turned out? He's so old school NWA. What would he have done with the New York product?
I don't know. That's
probably
that's a
fuck
really
it
good
up.
question. And to be honest with you, I mean,
probably fuck
I'm
it
not
up.
trying to knock Jerry Jarrett, but besides Memphis, you know, what else? Like, he royally failed in TNA, I think, right?
Yeah, well, you know, it's weird. Was it a success ultimately? No, I agree.
Right.
Is it something that still hangs around today? Yeah. So I guess 2/3 lame gets a little something. The company's still going, right? I mean, he had his contributions to this business, obviously.
Well, clearly,
no one is
Jr.
Vince McMahon.
held him in very high regard if he was going to let him take over.
I would think so. He must hold the whole family in high regard. Did you ever think you'd see Jeff Jarrett recently get in the Hall of Fame?
No.
So obviously there is some affection from the McMahons to the Jarretts.
So it's interesting what you said, though. It's like, what would have happened to the WWE?
What would have? I don't know.
Do you think would Jarrett have stayed the course with Vince McMahon's? I can't imagine Vince going to jail and saying, "Jerry, do what you want. I believe in you." I think it would be like, these are really strict rules.
Is Vince doing like the Sopranos calling from jail?
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic, man. I can see him doing that. I don't know. I don't know what would have happened. He probably would have booked Flair as his champion, right? He probably would have booked Flair.
You think?
I think so.
Oof.
Yeah.
Thank God that didn't happen.
Well, there you go.
I was watching Jerry do an interview with your friend and our friend Hannibal.
He's not our friend.
The funny thing in that
talking
interview,
about?
some guy wrote, I just woke up. What happened?
Did Jerry fall asleep during the
No,
interview?
the guy watching fell asleep.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes. I'm surprised all three of them didn't fall
But Jerry
asleep.
was talking about. This was news to me. Could not stand Dixie Carter. Could not stand Vince Russo. Thought they were terrible for the business.
Who thought this, Jerry?
Jerry, yeah. And
you know something? I could see why. Coming from a traditional point of view, I could see why.
And he had heart surgery and didn't talk to Jeff for many years, right?
Yeah,
because
right.
he told Jeff that his doctor said, "Hey, whatever, you know, you can't do this anymore." Mm-hmm. And Jeff's like, "You already abandoned me once," and you just, I guess they must have, right? And then they had a falling out for a while.
Yeah, they did make up though, thankfully.
Yeah, thankfully.
I mean, thankfully they made up, but
unbelievable.
Shit happens in the wrestling business.
Anyway,
I don't think Vince and Shane are exactly, playing checkerboard together. You know, nowadays, I don't know what their freaking relationship is. It doesn't seem to be so great.
Well, rest in peace, Jerry Jarrett.
Absolutely. Is he in the Hall of Fame?
Jerry Jarrett?
No. Is he? No, he put his son in though, Vince.
I mean, when's the first time you even heard Jerry Jarrett's name? You've been a wrestling fan for a very, very long time.
Jerry Jarrett was, you know what it is that those companies, the CWA and
Right.
I always considered them smaller than, Mid-Atlantic or Florida or Georgia, so
did
little shades of gray there.
You thought that Memphis was much smaller than Florida then in your mind?
Well, I know that the magazines made more of a big deal, but don't forget, we also had exposure to Florida through UHF.
Right.
Being dinosaurs of wrestling. I mean, we had the UHF exposure. So to me, it's all perceptions in the eye of the beholder. I mean, I am positive that in Memphis, it was fucking huge. It had to be.
Oh, yeah.
It had to be the biggest fucking thing in the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So.
All right, man. So on Saturday, I'm going to ask you for some predictions.
What?
This should
I
be-
don't make predictions.
All right.
I give philosophies.
Philosophies, fine.
Yeah, because we're trying to guess a script.
Let's start off with the
come on.
undisputed Universal Championship, Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn. Hey, gotta ask.
Roman, right? Come on.
A blowout, or is Sammy?
I hope so.
Does Sammy get a shot?
I hope everybody leaves upset. I wanted Sammy to win. This is horrible. What do you think? I think he's going to pound him into the pit. He'll probably get plenty of offense,
I
Sammy.
think Sammy's going to get the good amount of
Within
offense.
a whisker, right? Because that's what Roman does.
He
He's
does.
going to, I'm going to lose the belt finally.
Right.
He's not going to lose the belt.
There's no way.
No, there's no way.
But you can't. Yeah, you're
Then
right.
there is a way.
United States Championship, Austin Theory versus Seth Rollins versus Johnny Gargano versus Bronson Reed versus Damian Priest versus Montez Ford.
I think
So funny, dude. I forgot that Bronson Reed and Gargano were even in this.
right. I think that they want. The real question is who do they want to walk into WrestleMania as United States champion? Okay, so let's go through these names. Austin Theory, I think he's going to be the one to walk into WrestleMania.
I agree.
The champion's going to walk in as champion at WrestleMania.
Agreed.
I believe that. Seth Rollins is going to wind up wrestling Logan Paul.
Fine.
For WrestleMania, so he's not winning this match. Johnny Gargano, stop it. Bronson Reed, stop it. Damian Priest. How would you like it if Montez Ford walked out of there with it?
Well, so
there's
I was
the
waiting
wild
for you
card.
to say,
There's
that is
the wild
legitimate
card.
possibility.
That is
Yeah.
for sure. Would you do that though? Who's he fighting? What's the sexy matchup for WrestleMania? You got to have pizzazz at WrestleMania. It's the Super Bowl of wrestling.
If I
got to
didn't-
have it.
If I didn't think that Austin Theory was wrestling Cena, right,
Right.
at WrestleMania,
Right.
I would say there's quite the possibility that Montez Ford would walk out the United States champion.
But who would be his opponent?
Well, he could fight he could fight Dawkins.
Dawkins
He
is
could
going
have-
to turn on him. This is a fast one.
I don't know. That would be.
It's
really
a fast one.
You know, it's really stupid because Austin
Right.
Theory's walking out. But
I believe he is.
I would say if there was a long shot,
It would be
of
Montez.
that whole crew. It's Montez.
Yeah,
Ford.
because he hit the weights recently.
Right. Exactly.
I agree. Okay.
All right. Raquel Rodriguez versus Nikki Cross versus Liv Morgan versus Asuka versus Natalie versus Carmella.
What is the point of this match?
The winner gets a shot at Bianca Belair.
Thank you. I wanted to make sure there was a point to this match. Okay. You always got to think Here we are, right back to WrestleMania. Would she be fighting Raquel Rodriguez?
No.
Would she be fighting Nikki Cross?
No.
Liv Morgan?
No. Even though Liv, but no.
No, I agree. Liv Morgan's almost Montez Ford here.
Yes.
You realize that?
Right.
Okay. Asuka. There's your winner.
There's the winner.
Right? Versus...
Heel Asuka,
What
by
is
the
it? Is Natalia ever going to stop competing? I
you're
mean, we were
right.
in high school when she started.
You're right. I can't. I
I
can't
would
remember that.
I do like the music, though. At least it reminds me of Bret the Hitman. So at least you got the intro music. But after that, it's like Snoresville. Carmella. Well, at least she's in the match to look good, right?
Carmella still looks great.
She's a bit of a wild card, isn't she? Doesn't she sometimes win matches she's got no business winning? That's
does.
not a WrestleMania
It's not
match,
this,
though.
though. It's
No,
not.
it's going to be Asuka. Okay. What else we got?
All right. Edge and Beth Phoenix versus Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley.
Dude, just walk me into traffic without a crash helmet. I don't give a
What?
shit about this
Dude,
match.
Rhea, man.
My ass runs faster than
Mommy.
my feet when I think about this match. Are you kidding
Mommy
me?
and Beth going head to
I
head.
like Mommy, but that's... Dude, I'm not interested in these stupid couples matches.
Oh, come on, man.
Why do you eat this shit up? Because you like
Love
This
it.
Is Us. That's what it is.
I like storytelling.
Yeah, but
And I got to be honest with you, anything with Rhea Ripley is a home run.
Wow, you really have lost your mind
Oh,
with her.
I have a new favorite, which I'll reveal at
On the big program?
On the big program.
Ooh, there's
But
a
I have
reason to
new
tune
favorite.
in.
Oh, yes.
A new
absolutely.
favorite.
One match I forgot to put down.
Yeah,
and
go
this
ahead.
This is probably the hardest one to pick of them all. Lashley against Lesnar.
No decision.
Dude, you and me are like
Yeah.
really in tune today.
Yeah.
We're finally
Yeah,
going to
we
get to
are.
see that double
We're going to
disqualification
see
or
it.
double count.
It's going to be 1983, and we're going to enjoy it while all these new fans are going to be
Yeah.
bitching. What do you mean, no decision? I need a winner. Oh my God, now I can't sleep. What the fuck?
Are you looking forward to Elimination Chamber, or is it just a means to an end for WrestleMania to you?
Bingo. Pretty
Does
much. This is the setup for WrestleMania.
Does this wash Sami Zayn out of the title window, and then it's Cody and Roman the rest of the way?
I got a bad feeling we're going to have a match you don't want.
Triple threat?
I got a bad feeling.
You know what?
You're really going to erase this guy's popularity? Like, you can't. Fans will go... See, this is where the fans will take over.
You had said to me, because you had mentioned a triple threat.
They're doing their best to avoid it by having Cody buddy up to Sammy. They're doing their best.
But
But
you brought up the thing, triple threat, and I
Yeah.
said, I can't see them doing that, but I can see them making sure Sammy's in WrestleMania, because that's what the fans want to see. And then you brought up the fact that maybe Roman brings someone to ringside. And by the way, in this match, I believe that Jay Uso turns on Sammy.
That would make sense.
And that's how Roman wins
Right,
the belt.
that would make sense.
And that leads up to that tag team match.
okay.
Maybe, because this might be a little ridiculous.
Well, what
but
becomes of Kevin Owens? There you go.
I think Sammy comes with Cody to the ring.
Okay.
And it is the possibility that Sammy, because the one thing that WWE is doing now is a lot of Easter eggs.
Yeah, they are.
And Roman recently, you remember him saying to Sammy, you have one final test to be an Uso.
Right.
The final test hasn't happened yet. There was no... We thought the final test...
It's over.
My opinion is there's a good possibility Sammy turns on Cody at WrestleMania.
Rejoins?
That's the final test. He stops Cody from winning the belt.
Let me tell
And
you
that
something.
was the setup.
You are rooting subconsciously so hard for Cody to not ruin your hero.
Yes,
I'm going to say that that's a fascinating theory, Captain.
Yeah.
However, the Vulcan in me must break it to you mathematically.
Right.
You're fucked.
So
It's a good theory, though. It's a good
the only
theory.
thing I'll say this.
Roman's winning this match.
We
He's
were-
not
we were-
losing
we were,
to
we were
Sammy.
talking business. Mm-hmm. Roman,
Yeah.
regardless how everybody might feel about him and comparing him to certain others,
Okay.
has been the biggest
He's fucking great.
drawing
Yep.
heavyweight champion
In
in
history.
of the sport.
In the history
Yeah,
of
that
it.
can't be denied.
No, it can't.
Yeah, talk about inflation, talk about this, talk
Right.
about that.
Right.
As a WWE, do you really want to risk getting off this horse that's only been on a short run of this
A
really
short
high,
run?
No, on this really
The
high...
longest reign since Hulkamania?
No, but I mean God mode. He's been in God mode for about a year.
Yeah,
right?
about a year.
Do you really want to give that up and have a risk Cody Rhodes? Or do you stick to the plan, have a whole bunch of new matches for Cody, and then if it's not working, bring Roman back at SummerSlam and he wins the belt
Well,
back?
getting back to our original real point about real life, the one thing we don't know, no matter what we can throw around, how do we know that Roman doesn't need a vacation?
That's the thing. Yes.
In real life,
Right.
the guy's been champion for the longest reign since Hogan did it from 84 to 88. That's almost 40 years ago that Roman Reigns is doing this work rate. And he's battled leukemia, for God's sakes. He might want a vacation. So,
What do you think-
we can't answer that because we're not, Roman Reigns could pull an Aaron Rodgers on us.
It's good you
Go
use-
into the dark for 4
It's good
days.
to use the word work rate, but really,
Yeah.
what is the work rate in the
For
WWE
Roman?
now?
Not, you know what?
SmackDown,
Hogan, I bet you Hogan worked harder.
One pay-per-view.
I bet you Hogan worked
and
a lot
maybe
harder.
a couple of house shows.
Right.
So 6-7 times a week.
Wow!
Instead 6 or 7 times
wait
a
a
month?
second. Instead of 350 days, it's 35 days a week.
Yeah.
A year.
A year, yeah.
35 days. We should make a movie.
Documentary, 35 days.
That'd be awful.
That would be.
Yeah, yeah. The
I
popcorn.
wasn't
The
out there. It was
popcorn
great.
would be good though.
What do you mean it was great? I worked 35 days and I made $4 million.
There you go.
Wow,
We
I
the
feel
ones.
bad.
We the ones.
That's right.
We the ones.
That's right. I mean, honestly, you see Roman, make his appearance once every Friday.
Right.
by the way, could be taped the whole time, right? Because sometimes he never leaves the locker room.
This is true.
You know what I mean?
This is very
So
true.
let's tape Roman for the next 2 weeks in the storyline.
So then maybe my fantasy about him breaking Bruno's record could come true. He's barely working.
It could.
Let him hold it for another 5 years.
It could happen.
Boy, the fans would go insane. Could you imagine if he held it longer than Bruno? Bruno held it for almost 8
Dude, I'm
years.
really not ready for Cody to be. This could be
I know
a really
you're not.
bad WrestleMania.
I know you're not ready for Cody Rhodes,
Charlotte's
but
going to lose.
Charlotte's going to lose.
To Rhea. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
She's going to lose.
Yeah,
to
I
Rhea.
told you. It's the comeuppance. Right. It's return
Bianca's
serve.
going to lose to Asuka.
No way.
I would hope not.
I don't think so. I think Bianca walks
Think
out of
about
there.
how high you held Asuka for a long
Well,
time.
Asuka was undefeated like Goldberg for like a year.
But now it's like,
And now they Nakamura'd her. I hate to, use the same,
Right.
region comparison, but they did. They Nakamura'd her. Nakamura was on top of the world. Now he's like tag teaming with you and me. That's rough.
So you don't see Bianca?
know?
I mean, I wouldn't take the belt off Bianca.
No
either.
way. She's so over. The fans love her. You don't do that. But if Roman really does need a vacation, Cody Rhodes is a very safe bet to be a popular face. Business will be fine. It won't be like, maybe with Roman, but I think it'll be fine.
Here's my one worry.
That tattoo
Rhodes,
on his neck?
That, but Cody Rhodes couldn't carry AEW. What
He
makes you think
wasn't. He
carries
wasn't trying to
WWE?
carry. They didn't book him to carry AEW. Jericho and
Wouldn't
Moxley.
just by natural reaction that he would
Didn't you
carry
ever
it?
wonder why the belts weren't like flying left and right around his waist when it was going on over there? I felt that they were already mishandling him. I thought that, and then where did he go? He wound up leaving the very company he helped create. He left.
If my theory happens,
That's fucked up,
If
bud.
my theory happens, do you lose your shit? Are you angry the following Thursday?
No, because it means Roman's going to be champion for 7.5 plus years. Yeah, just
So
hold the belt
you're
forever.
actually okay with Roman holding
Dude.
on or Cody holding on.
I win either way.
Yeah.
I like them both.
Right.
I really do. And you know what? What's wrong with that?
So you're sitting and watching who you're rooting for. You like them both.
You know what? I guess I'll have to wait for that moment when it's actually happening. Pretty
But you know
much.
You go with Cody.
If
I can't see it, wouldn't they?
well, in a way, look, if this was anybody else's son, like let's say it was a WWE tie,
Right.
like let's say Hogan had actually had a kid that could go,
Right.
you wouldn't want him to fulfill, the legacy of the family. Of course you would. You'd be like, let me tell you something, brother. Junior's gonna run wild
remember-
on you, dude.
Dusty
That'd
wasn't
be
a
fucking
Dusty
awesome.
wasn't a WWE guy though.
He wasn't. He was an NW. That's why you hate him, right?
This is true.
Fucking traitor, right? If you root for Cody, right?
Well, anyway, everybody enjoy SmackDown, enjoy Rampage,
Enjoy.
and enjoy the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, you've been watching this
Oh, wait,
week.
real quick.
You haven't been watching?
What do you think about the fact
What?
that they tried to make Lesnar a bad guy and keep
Can't-
Lashley a face, and it wasn't working? So they
No.
had to totally just reverse the whole
He's
script.
Lesnar's good old boy thing is like way over.
It's just they couldn't.
Why does his accent change every week though? I can't figure out what he's trying to do.
I don't know. He eats a lot of meat. That guy.
Well, look at him.
I know.
It's a lot of cow. I liked his reference to Sable though. I couldn't get Bobby Lashley out of my mind. I was in bed with my wife. 5 hours later, I thought about Bobby Lashley again.
Very funny.
Nicely done, Brock. You've been watching This Week in Wrestling. And until next week in wrestling, later.